First question would be, if there's a startup who's just starting off with their GTM motion, and they're thinking about the strategy and they're thinking about where to invest and where not to invest. So what advice would you give in terms of priority? Okay, focus on this and then the next things and the next thing. Can you please go on?
Sure. I think like there's a couple of things, like that I'm seeing more and more as over times as I have been advising over like 20 to 25 founders in the last couple of years. And I'm seeing that a lot of teams, especially when they're early stage, but also after, like when they're like approaching like a growth stage, nobody really understands or value the messaging aspect, which is basically how to talk about your product, how to convey what your product does, who is it for, what are the capabilities. So like what not just like the name of your features, but what you do with the product that help you achieve an outcome, and how these are different from, or how your product and capabilities are different from other players in adjacent industries, or in a very competitive, in the most competitive space, right? So basically, because people don't normally understand, I think this is a very qualitative aspect of marketing. You need to really understand what the customer outcomes, objectives, alternatives they're using, the pains that arise from using these alternatives, and how they're affecting in their day-to-day. So there's a lot of empathy, there's a lot of like a tight conversation that needs to be done with the customers in order to understand these aspects deeply and abstract them to then market your product accordingly, right? So these are very, I think, like qualitative aspects of marketing. I think they're very hard to measure, and founders think that they know exactly how to sell their product. They know exactly all of these things because maybe like they've had a personal story with why they're building their product. But I think like that's really not necessarily the case. There's they don't follow maybe like a specific process or structure to come up with their messaging. And also, again, because it's qualitative, then they think, oh, this maybe it's harder to justify to investors. It's hard to measure their impact. So I don't need to invest into this now. I need to invest in more tangible things, right? And so basically, just to go back to your questions, because of all these aspects, people go to market, they rush into creating content, they rush into creating websites, they rush into creating advertising and campaigns with what's like I call a diluted messaging, which is not clear, and that basically ends up tanking all of their growth metrics, and because it creates confusion with their prospects. People don't understand exactly what do they do, how it's different from what they're using to date, why they should try it, and even after they try it out, maybe with a free trial or whatnot, they don't get the reason why they should stick around, right? So I think like this is what I call GTM dilution, or go-to-market dilution, because it happens across every aspect of the funnel, every channel. And so going back to your question, I think this is the main thing that I normally start with founders and teams, which is like understanding and an analysis of how their messaging is going, or like how is it resonating with their customers, and based on that, try to get the messaging more clear rather than clever, and more concrete. And this, again, like it's especially important at the early stages when you don't have credibility, you don't have a brand. It's important to really paint a picture from a functional point of view. This is like what we do, and this is how we're gonna get you as a customer get 10x better into your day-to-day job. That's what gets the referral mechanism going and the initial credibility bootstrapped.